Do a podcast about sports, about sports. Howdy, Ags from the Tailgate, home of Aggie football. Today's episode, we're going to take a look at the Aggie depth chart for 2026 and some key position battles. But before that, today's sponsor is Matthews Electric, full service electrical contractor in Nebraska Valley. No job too big, no job too small. Call Blaine at 979-220-6403. Light up your home, light up your life. Folks, don't forget to email us at agstailgate@gmail.com. Get onto the YouTube. Subscribe. Share the podcast with others. Give us some commentary. Let us know what's up. We'd like to welcome a bunch of our new subscribers. We're over 1,000, Corey.
Woo! People making mistakes. Hitting that subscribe.
Amen.
Bitch.
Quick rundown. We'll do a little bit of Aggie basketball, a little Aggie baseball, and then we'll hit our football topic. Welcome back, Corey. First of all, let me just start there.
There you go.
How's life been?
Busy. Kids.
Busy.
Life.
Yep.
Houses.
Life
Jobs.
for 3 young children.
Yeah.
Amen to that. All right, so let's get into it. A&M basketball, 19-8 overall, 9-5 in the SEC. There's 4 games remaining on the schedule. You got Arkansas tomorrow, Texas on Saturday, Kentucky next Tuesday, and at LSU the last Saturday. So 1-2 in a row after losing 4 in a row, beat Ole Miss 80-77. I was at that game. It was a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
And then over the weekend, they go to Oklahoma and beat Oklahoma 75-71. What do you think, Corey? Where's this team at, right? Everybody was panicked for a second there. They sat in there and they were, worried that, look, this team no longer is going to make the tournament. All of a sudden now, a couple of wins after that. I think I was pretty steady in saying I believe in Bucky Ball, so I'm there. What are your thoughts, man?
I'm impressed by the team. After watching the first couple of games, I was like, this team's going to suck. But they are better than what I thought they were going to be. The defense is it's atrocious. I mean, it's awesome to watch that defense. The way they work together, it's effort. This team has to win on effort. They don't have the talent these other teams have. They don't have the size. They have depth, but it's not like NBA depth. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they have an NBA player on this roster. If you look at it, do you think there's an NBA player on this roster? Vallejo?
I don't know. Probably
Who would you
not.
say? I can't think of any of them. Nobody.
Not like I don't know. That's a good question, right? I mean, maybe next year when McKenzie comes back, then we have an NBA player on the roster.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe. I mean, he would make a big difference because I watched Carolina play last night. I watched Houston. I watched Kansas. And just the talent difference between what the big guys that are 6'7", 6'8", and 6'9" on those teams can do. We don't have that. We have
yeah, I
AG
guess I wonder if
6'7".
a guy like Ron Griffin can be a 3-and-D type of guy, not drafted,
No, he won't get drafted. He might
not
be.
drafted, but kind of be uh
Yeah.
end up on a roster somewhere as one of those guys. Can Dominguez be a 3-point specialist in the league or something where he just goes out there and jacks some shots? I don't know. I doubt it. I don't know that he's got the necessary athleticism to, at least Dominguez doesn't have the athleticism, I don't think, to be able to play defense in that league well enough, right?
I don't think he
Um,
has the consistency to be in that league right now. He
yeah,
disappears.
yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, first year in college basketball here, what he's doing this year. I mean, whatever. But I will agree with you here, right? I mean, I think this team has clearly outperformed what anybody expected from them this year. I think that
Yeah.
they continue to do those things. Has it been perfect? No, it hasn't been perfect. Have they had uh have they had ups and downs through this process? Sure. A couple of bad shooting nights. I mean, but really and truly, you go look at the schedule. They've had basically two bad games. Two bad games out of all.
Who?
Take away
Florida?
take away those couple of early losses, right?
Yeah, Florida was a
Because
bad one.
that wasn't, that wasn't this team, right? That was a bunch of kids that had just barely showed up on campus and were playing basketball together for the first time, right? But since then, they've had two best games, Florida and Vanderbilt. That's pretty much it, right?
Yeah,
I mean, and they come back and that now you know, they get they get into the SEC where it's a battle game in and game out, and they still find ways to battle every night, right? Like this is what's impressed me the most. They did what they did against Oklahoma or Ole Miss, really, Ole Miss, with Griffin, Lane, Deba, and Pop all struggling, right? All those guys struggled. Dominguez had a little bit of had a decent game. He didn't have a great game. He had a decent game. I thought Holloway. I told you this right after the game. Remember? I thought Holloway was the MVP of that game. The way he came in the second half and really did some great things defensively and offensively, kind of calming this team down offensively. Look, AG's
yeah,
numbers look great, but he had like three turnovers in the second half where he was way out of control and almost threw the game away. Right?
yep,
I mean, and they still won that game in spite of the fact that the Ole Miss guy couldn't miss. What's his name? Adia or is it Dia?
yeah. You talking about the big guy?
He looks like an NBA player, by the way.
Oh yeah, he got hurt at the end of that game. Remember, he twisted his ankle or
Yeah.
something. But
And
no, I'll tell you, you said a lot of good names there, but the one you didn't say is Hill. That guy's been like the heartbeat of our team. I mean, the guy's a little bit shorter than I am, I think, and he attacks the
yeah,
paint like with reckless abandon. I mean, the guy goes in there and he'll just toss it up and it goes in. He gets fouled. It's a shame he's not a better shooter.
no, that's a great point. Hill has been probably, I mean, he's the reason we've been able to kind of bounce back through this process. I mean, it's a shame some of his production came through that losing streak, but he kept us in a lot of those ball games, right?
Yeah.
He made us competitive in those ball games. Um,
If
and I
somebody asked
even
you who's our best player, who would you say is our best player?
I mean,
'Cause, I
it's
mean,
hard
I
to
think we
argue
got
with
like four or
AG.
five.
It's hard to argue with AG because he's a double machine for this team and he's been the most consistent. But you look him out there and defensively he hurts you at times, right? He can't move. He's
No,
slow. It's some
very.
one of the things and Buzz not Buzz Bucky talked about this in one of his press conferences where they kind of started jumping into some traps when they weren't supposed to and it cost them with wide open, basically layups on the other end, right? And I think, and a couple of those, I believe, were AG. And so, and
He's
so,
just too slow to get back.
and yeah, if he's back there, he ain't making it back,
Yeah.
right? Because he ain't quick enough.
No. But I mean, there's other guys. I mean, every game's a different game with this team because
Yeah,
you don't know. I mean, who's going to have a big game? It's not like watching a BYU where that freshman has 30 every game, or Kansas has that other guy that has 30. You know what I'm saying?
and I
It's a
don't know if
bunch of
that's an advantage or a
balls.
disadvantage, right? I think it's both. It's both an advantage and a disadvantage because for a team on the other side, you don't really know who to focus on, right? Anybody can beat you.
Who was it we came out against and we were like lights out and we still lost the game? I mean, both teams were on fire shooting. I can't
Missouri.
remember who it was. Was that Missouri?
Yeah.
Did we lose that game?
Oh yeah.
But we were shooting lights out. I'm talking like we hit, but it's everybody on the team. It wasn't just Dominguez or Lane or Hill
Absolutely.
or Clements. I mean, you had Vincent not coming off the bench hitting a couple threes. But it's everybody. I mean, 1 through 11. I think he plays 11 players.
But
And
we
it
didn't
scratches my
we
head
couldn't
sometimes.
stop
Somebody gets
anybody.
hot. Well, somebody gets hot, and then you're like, yeah, I'm gonna pull him. Yeah, sure enough. I don't get that.
Um, Yeah, and you
I like
look,
getting Bucky on the show.
and Bucky's done a good job of adjusting, making some adjustments, right? I mean, the last couple of games, he's backed the press off a little bit, where he's kind of, especially late, where he's wanted to be more under control, not giving up so many layups and things like that, right? And so he's backed it off a little, played a little bit more half court defense in those situations, and I think done a decent job in that area. So, we'll see. I like what he's done. I hope that he can now come back to he's go from that. He can come back and now ramp up the press again when it's time, especially tournament time, right? Like being able to really push at those times because I think it's hard to prepare for, right? Especially on short rest. I think that's a huge deal. And the other thing is that I felt like for a little while there he got away from the depth, right? Like we were playing earlier and it was regularly 10 guys with 10 minutes or more. And now you're starting to see, well, that number's down to 9, right? Like Holloway's minutes shrank for a while there. Now he's kind of coming back up into the list now. But, Federico's minutes have gone down. So they're I feel like he has to stay with that that idea of, look, we got to be able to play 5 in, 5 out, right? Because we got to play hard. We got to play so hard. We got to get the guys off the bench and let them play. Don't be afraid to let those bench guys get their minutes, is my point.
See, that's what I don't understand is how does he sub? Does he just is he watching the game saying, okay, let's sub, or does he have minutes that? That's why I like to ask him, like, how do you do your substitutions? Is it hey every 3 minutes we're getting somebody in the game, somebody goes for four? I don't know.
What I've sort of noticed, this is what my take has been, is that early on, he does have a set substitution that he wants to make, so especially first half. And then in the second half, he's kind of making the the moves based off of who's playing better, right?
Hmm.
And so he's adjusting it to us. That's what I've noticed, but we should ask him the question.
Let's get him on
Um,
the show. Let's call him up.
all right, thoughts on how this thing's going to finish out? Four more games, four more games. What do you expect out of these 4 games?
Uh, Arkansas is gonna be real tough. I wouldn't be surprised if A&M gets blown out of that one. They just athletically, they have a couple of future NBA players on that team.
That freshman Acuff is a freaking monster.
Yeah, I watched them play the other day, and I mean they got a couple bigs that are going to give us problems because they can stretch the court.
What
AG's
did he
going to have
have
a
the
hard
other day?
time.
47 or something against, was it against Alabama and they barely
Yeah,
lost in double overtime or something?
yeah. And this is, I mean, this team, they're like Alabama. They're long, they're athletic. It's the kind of team that's not a good matchup for us. You know what I'm saying? It's not a good matchup. I think Kentucky will be a better matchup than this team because Kentucky doesn't shoot the ball as well. Kentucky's big and they're athletic, but they don't shoot the ball like
Look, and
Arkansas
we
does.
and we get them at home.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think Kentucky will be a 50-50 game. We might even be favored now. Arkansas, I wouldn't be surprised if Arkansas is favored by maybe 10, 9.5. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
I'd take the
Uh,
Aggies with the 10 points, I'll tell you what.
I don't know. I don't know if I'd touch that. Who's the other game? LSU. We should beat LSU. LSU's been terrible.
In
And
Texas.
Texas,
Texas at home.
Texas has been up and down. I mean, we
In
beat them on
College
the road
Station.
already. Yeah, we've already beat them once in Austin. We should handle business there.
I'll be
Texas.
honest with you, if they finish out 3-1, I think that's awesome.
I
Awesome.
think two and I
Awesome.
think 2-2 is what they'll go. That's
Two
my
and two, 2-2 gets them into the tournament, by the way.
oh yeah. I mean, well, I mean, where are they going to be placed in the SEC if they finish 2-2? What are they going to do for the SEC tournament? Is that going to be? Are they
Well,
going to
I
be like
think they get a bye at two. If they finish two and
13
two on
get
the season,
buys?
they get a bye in the SEC tournament.
What
They would get a bye in the SEC tournament if they finish 2-2. And
really? Is it the
yeah,
top four teams get buys or?
yeah, I think so. I think they'd end up with a bye.
I don't know. I don't know if they would or not. I thought I looked at it the other day. I thought they were in fourth or fifth place, but I'm not sure.
Um,
Florida, Arkansas, Alabama. I
yeah, I'll
think
have to
all
look
three
at
of
it
them.
again, but I do think they'll get a bye if they end
Is
up two and
Tennessee
two.
ahead of them?
Can't remember.
I'm
Probably.
looking it up.
But
That that would be my guess.
I do believe they look. I think they go 2-2. They may go 3-1. I'm not giving in on Arkansas like you are, right? I think
I'm
Arkansas is
not
another
giving
one
it.
of
I just
those.
think Arkansas is a better team.
They are a
I
better
mean,
team. They're more talented.
Aggies have to play like a great game to beat Arkansas at Arkansas, I think.
Yeah, I think that what I would say is that they are a team though that their focus is on offense, man, and I think that helps at A&M, right? Like they're not one of these defensive juggernauts that's going to sit in there and just smother you on defense, and I think that that is a good thing for A&M. A lot like when we played Alabama, right? Like we can if they want to go up and down, hell, if we hit some shots, we gotta hit some shots. They're going to give you open shots. We can score. I guess that's my
So
point.
right now the Aggies are in fifth place in the SEC behind Florida, Alabama, Arkansas, and Tennessee.
All right. Well, they'll be close.
They're uh, they're one game ahead of Texas, Missouri, and Vandy and Kentucky. So I mean, it's going to be there's like a real big bunch. What's the
The,
Aggies' best win of the season so far?
man, it's hard to say, right?
I mean, who's the best
The,
team they beat?
I mean Auburn, Texas. I don't know.
I mean, they beaten any top 25 teams? Auburn might have been top 25 at the time or close to it.
Yeah, I mean Georgia.
They were top 25. Georgia's not doing too well.
Yeah, they've fallen off here the second half of the SEC schedule.
Yeah,
Once again, I'm not worried about that. I think get into the tournament and figure it out, right? I mean, but at the end of the day, these guys, once again, just super impressed with what they've done so far, and
yeah.
even more impressed with the way Bucky has got them all to buy in. I mean, the guys, the you know, I can't say enough about the way this team has come together this year and what they've accomplished so far. No matter what they end up doing the rest of the way, by the way. Um, Baseball 7-0, Corey. 7-0 swept Penn this weekend, but not an easy sweep. They walk off on Friday, walk off on Saturday. They couldn't score any runs. I believe it was 1-0 Friday and 2-1 on Saturday. And they tied it in the ninth on Saturday, I believe, if I remember correctly, to go to extra so that they could walk it off in the 10th. Finally, some breathing room with a 7-1 win on Sunday. Look, bats are cold, buddy. Bats are cold. Sorrell got hurt on Saturday, by the way. He on Friday. He didn't play Saturday. Hakopian's still out of the lineup for whatever reason. The
Hey,
bats are
You got to win some games with pitching every now and then. The bats are gonna. That's gonna happen.
no, and that's what I was. Like the good sign of this was
How
look,
many walks do we give up?
Sadeo, Moss, all three weekend starters, and Sims all had good outings, right?
How many
Sadeo went
walks?
seven innings, no runs,
You know how many walks we've had in the last four games? How
like
many
giving
walks?
up.
Yeah,
Not off the top of my head.
I think it's a goose egg. Maybe one.
You're telling me zero walks in the last four games?
I read that somewhere today, I believe.
That's pretty impressive considering this pitching staff used to hand out walks last year like it would, I mean, like party favors, man.
I just pulled up the baseball on ESPN.
Yeah,
North Carolina State is playing Richmond. Richmond, Virginia, my hometown.
yeah.
NC State's the top of the eighth. NC State's up 27-0.
I don't know what that has anything to do with anything, to be honest with you.
27-0 in baseball. Why is the game not over? Why isn't there a slaughter rule?
I think you got to go at least, I don't know, 5 or 6 innings or something. Who knows?
That's ridiculous. 27-0.
That's pretty good. I wish we'd scored 27. Uh,
Shit, we scored 20, 30 something runs in three games against who was that? Tennessee Tech or State
Tennessee
or
Tech. Yeah,
Tennessee
and so
baseball team?
against Penn, they get Sadeo for 7 innings, 0 runs. Really nice outing for Sadeo coming off of a not so great outing against Tennessee Tech. Moss goes 6 inning, 1 run, another good outing by the starter, and then Sims 7 innings and 1 run, right? So the starters did their job. The bullpen's looking really solid. TK, Dewar, Partita each had 5 hits over the weekend. Grahovic got a couple on Sunday. I mean, there's some really good things to see over there. This weekend, we get to find out what the real deal is, though, because we go to the deal in Arlington, the little tournament in Arlington. We get Virginia Tech, UCLA, who's number
Okay.
one in the country, and Arizona State. So we're gonna find out.
Yeah, I think I don't know. Baseball is one of those sports. It doesn't, stay healthy. What's wrong with Sorrell? What do you do?
Hand is what I heard.
I just don't get how baseball players get hurt all the time. I don't get it.
It's a good question, but they do. Trust me, I'm a Astros fan, and boy, they can't stay healthy to save their lives.
I, I know. I just don't get it, man. I mean, Jesus. Football players I understand they run into each other all day. Basketball players are
Great,
going to
great
bust a
transition
knee.
there. So let's move on to some football. Uh,
Yeah.
Maroon and white game, April 18th, Corey. Free admission. I'm going to be there. You're going to be there. Just put it on your
Yep.
calendar.
Always. Always.
The tailgate's ready to cover some Aggie football.
Yep.
Uh, so today we want to talk a little bit about some of the big competitions going on here in spring ball this spring, right? So
All right.
through spring practice, obviously there's some positions that we feel, look, this guy's got this one sewed up, right?
Yeah.
This quarterback, Marcel Reed. No need to bring up Marcel Reed today. He's got
Not a
his
competition.
positions sewed up. But let's move on to running back, right? And before we get to position by position here, I think the first mistake that everyone makes, and including the people that are covering these teams, including the folks at TexAgs. I don't know how many different videos I've seen online on YouTube where these guys are talking A&M and they got a depth chart out there. And the first thing they do is they take every single transfer portal guy and they put him at the top of the depth chart. So that offensive line is going to be Wilkin Formby, Cohen Eccles, Trovon Baugh, Tyree Adams, and then Naboo playing center, right? No,
Yeah.
that ain't the case,
Absolutely.
man. That's not the case. That's not what's going to happen. Just because you showed up as a transfer does not make you a starter. Let me inform everybody of this, right? That's
Right.
not how this works. So, having said that, let's assume that some of these positions where these transfers showed up, there's going to be competition. Okay? Let's
hmm
assume that. You with me?
I'm listening. I'm not sure I'm with
So,
you.
on offense, there's 7 transfers that came in.
Yep.
Of those, maybe 3 will start. Maybe. On
I'm thinking I
defense,
got two on the top of my head right now.
on defense, there's 10 transfers. I don't know how many of those are going to start, but it could be 3. So let's go position by position. Let's start on offense. Like we said, the quarterback's out. The new
Yep.
guy, the only new guy on campus is Helmut Kasuga, the freshman. He ain't taking the job from Marcel, so we're going there. Running back, though, obviously a lot of transition at running back. I think this is a place where the competition this spring is going to be huge, right?
Go
We've
ahead.
got we've got guys that we know. Ruben Owens, 5-star guy, yada, yada, yada. He's been all this hype and no production. Not no production.
Don't say no production.
Mediocre
Uh,
production. Let's just
yeah,
give
I mean, okay.
let's go there. Mediocre
You got
production.
spoiled. You got spoiled with Moss is the problem.
Yeah. We did get spoiled with Moss. You're 100% correct. Um, but I think the other pieces that we're talking about are important, right? Because here's where the competition comes in, and that is Jamarian Morrow,
Yeah,
a guy that me and you were super impressed with last year when he was getting carries, and
absolutely.
it seemed like he kind of fell off towards the
I
end of the
didn't get
season.
it.
For some reason, EJ Smith started taking some of those snaps. I don't get it.
Goal line snaps. What goal
Yeah,
line? EJ Smith. I didn't get that.
don't get it. But I think the competition now is EJ Moore. And then
All
the
right.
other 2 guys that I think are going to jump in there, 2 new guys on campus, which are freshmen. KJ Edwards, a guy that everybody's absolutely on fire for. And then
I
even
don't know.
even a Carson Baker, right? I we don't know enough about DeAndre Ryden, is another freshman from last year who's a little bit bigger back. But I'm telling you, I think the freshman coming in this year, KJ Edwards, is going to get a role in this backfield. So talk about this competition a little bit, Corey. What do you think?
I disagree with you. I think Morrow and Owens will probably be 50-50, kind of like it was last year, and they might sprinkle Edwards in kind of like they did Morrow this year. I just don't see Elko going to the freshman route when you have two experienced guys, or at least one experienced, another guy coming in. Dude, it's a big boy game. I mean, are these guys ready to handle the ball that many times coming as a freshman?
Oh, I agree with you that he's not going to be the lead back. I agree with you he's not going to be the lead back. I think he's going to be in the rotation. I think he's going to get carries though.
You think he'll
Um,
get 5 or 10 carries a game, touches?
Probably five. I'd be closer to the five number and five touches, somewhere in that range, like 5 to 7, somewhere in there.
I'd say
Um,
2 to 3. But
and
anyway, I mean, it depends on how he does.
and depending
And
on, yeah, absolutely. What does he
Ruben
show?
Owens has been hurt before, so I mean, you never know.
Ruben Owens is definitely a potential injury waiting to happen, right? But
Right?
I really believe, and I'm telling you this right now, I think Jamarian Morrow is your lead back next year. I do.
I, I don't know. Yeah, I agree with you. I think he should be the lead back from what I've seen from him so far.
I really believe that he's got an opportunity to surpass Owens, especially because of as the primary runner, right?
Right.
This is where I think that Colin Klein really I mean, didn't do a very good job is finding places to use Owens out in the open, right? Like,
Yeah, Owens doesn't run between the tackles very well. He hesitates too much. He doesn't hit the hole. Morrow hit the hole. You saw the running back from Indiana? Well, they hit the hole. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? They ran the ball against that Miami defense we couldn't run the ball against because they didn't hesitate. They ran
Yeah,
it.
and I thought he had opportunities to use him in a way where you line him up in the backfield like normal, and then all of a sudden you maybe motion him out and then get him an
Yeah,
opportunity out there in the passing game and different things.
he's
And I
got
didn't
good
think Klein
hands.
did any of that with Owens, which I believe was his sort of the strength of him coming in, right?
We talked about that for the last 3 years about Owens being something out of the backfield, catching the ball. And I'll
Yeah,
be damned if they don't prove us wrong every year.
every year.
Because we saw it in the spring game 2 years ago, him catching balls out of the backfield. Like, hey, man, he's got
Well,
a chance of doing this.
maybe now that our offense coordinator is a receivers coach, maybe he's looking at some more opportunities to chunk the ball around a little bit.
Ooh, I don't know. I got to see this offensive line first.
We'll see it. All right, so
Because, I
let's
mean,
go running back. Like I said, I think Morrow ends up being the lead back as far as a
I
runner
agree.
in there. We'll see how that plays out, especially over the spring a little bit. Tight end. So here's a position again, lost a lot of players, right?
A lot of
And
production.
Nate Berkacher is now being projected as a draft pick, by the way. I think he's
Yeah, probably.
underused here at A&M.
Yeah, the guy's good.
Um,
I mean, he made some big catches here.
he did make some big ones. I would have liked to see more of them. But we bring in
We had
Houston
no idea
Thomas
where
from
we could get.
UTSA, Houston Thomas from UTSA, Richie Anderson from Fresno. Both of those guys caught about 30 passes last year. Um,
That's all Thomas caught was 30 at UTSA. I thought he would have had a better year.
well, he split time with another tight end over there, right? So they had a second tight end over at UTSA, so they did, and so they used the tight end a lot. But he did have another tight end that caught about the same
How
number of
big is
balls.
this Thomas kid? Like, what does he weigh? Is he more of a receiver? Is he going to be a factor in the blocking at all?
He's 6'5", 245. I don't think he's physical enough to be like a primary blocker.
That
But he
sucks.
is a guy that at least he's gonna try. I think he'll try. So,
6'5". I
you
mean,
just gotta scheme him into the blocking game. And so now the question becomes, okay, these two transfers, look, you got a couple of freshmen, those guys ain't gonna get in the mix. But you do
no.
have Mike O'Reilly, who was the former Auburn transfer and played some last year as a blocking tight end. He's 6'5", 260, one of our bigger tight end bodies. And
Like
then
it.
the sophomore Coyote Armstrong, who everybody loves, he's 6'6", 265. Remember, he wasn't a tight end in high school. He was an athlete, right? And they recruited him in here to tight end. He didn't see the field last year hardly. He definitely didn't have any stats. Can he, in his second year, be a guy that starts to use some of this great athletic ability that everybody's been talking about, right? Can he sneak in there? So, what are your thoughts on this competition there between the two transfers, the two guys coming back?
Man, it's a big question mark to me. I mean, it's huge. We don't have any returning production, basically, is what you're telling me, right? I mean,
We didn't really use the tight end all that much last year anyway.
this kid Thomas from UTSA, I was excited about him. But I mean, I'm more excited about him being a receiver. But if we're going to run the ball at all, we need our tight ends to block, because we know that's going to be part of the success in our running game.
Yeah,
Because we have a brand new offensive line.
I
Damn,
got
we
a
got a
feeling
brand new
that it's
offensive.
got to be if you're looking at a blocking guy, it's got to be Micah Riley, man. It's got to be Micah Riley, and I think that Micah Riley gets a lot of time on the field next year. May not
And
get,
I don't know what kind of offense we're going to run. I don't know if we're going to do a lot of play action, if we're going to do a lot of short screen passes, if we're going to throw the ball downfield. I have no clue. Are we going to be a 70% running team this year? There's a receivers coach coming in, you said, but yeah, I have no idea. What are you thinking?
no. There's not. That's not the case. That's not the case. And we're not
What?
changing that much, right? Like
You
it's
don't
not going
think?
to get so much crazier, so crazy um that they're all of a sudden 70% pass or 70% run for that matter. But
Well, you got a brand new offensive line coming in. Don't you have to protect the quarterback?
you
How are you going to
do,
protect?
you do. I don't
How
think
do you
that the
protect him?
offensive
You don't
line's going to
protect him
be
by
that big of a
coming out there with four wides, and you know what I'm
I
saying?
don't
You
think
got
the
to.
offensive line's going to be that big of a problem, to be honest with you.
We saw what it
Um,
was like 3 years ago, 2 years ago, whatever. It was huge,
yeah,
huge problem.
because under poor coaching,
All right, I'm just saying.
right? And so
I hear you.
if you ask me,
I'm asking you.
if you ask me, this
I'm
this is
asking you.
not going to take.
What are you doing?
I am typing something.
You keep saying that you're asking me. I'm asking you. What do you think this offense will be like? Do you think it's 50-50? Is it going to be get the ball in Marcel's hands, let everybody just run crazy and hope he makes a play? And we did that a lot last year.
No, I think you're going to see this offense be similar to last year's, but I'm hopeful that um I'm hopeful that they're able to create some more advantageous scenarios for the wide receivers, for the quarterback. That he's a little bit more creative in some of his other play calling and different things, the use of play action and things of that nature, right? Because that's where you get an advantage, right? You talk about the people that, where teams can really make a difference. Um, it's in their play design in order to find easy ways to make plays for the quarterback, for the wide receivers, for the running backs, whatever it is, right? Using your alignment in order to help your offensive line in their blocking scheme, right? Using motions to slow down a defense in order to get to a certain screen or a certain pass or whatever it is. And so that's where I think that Holman Williams is gonna have to do a much better job than Colin Klein, right? Colin Klein didn't.
I mean, Colin Klein, the first few games of the season, it was exciting. He was throwing the ball downfield. It seemed like he got away from that as the season went on. Like the Miami game, we said, hey, what's Miami weak at? We said defensive backs. Did we attack them? Nah. Attacked them once or twice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
didn't
And
throw the
being
ball
able to
downfield.
attack the weaknesses, right? And that's a huge piece.
Yeah. Watch them tape.
So going back to the tight ends, I do think that the competition is there. I think that Mike O'Reilly has to be a big part of it because I think he's our best blocker. And for this team to continue to use the run game the way they have, he needs to be part of that. Some people are expecting
Yeah.
maybe Houston. But here's the other thing I'm going to tell you. Houston Thomas is buddies with Mike Elko. Okay,
I've heard. Yeah, I've heard that.
they're buddy buddy. So if you think for 2 seconds that dude ain't getting on the field, good luck, right?
Yeah, he's gonna.
He will get
I think
playing
he's gonna
time.
be more, but he might be more of a wide receiver than he is a tight end. I mean, I don't even know if he'll line up at tight end. He might line up at receiver.
Oh, I think he'll line up at tight end, but they'll split him out some as well, and hopefully he's a good enough blocker to so when they split him out, he can go block for Mario Craver, right? That's kind
Right.
of what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Or Ruben Owens.
Um, so those that yeah, or Ruben Owens, correct. So um, some of those things, are some of those things are going to kind of play out as we see a little bit better what he's going to do play calling wise, right?
Yeah.
Um, let's move to wide receiver where I think you got the one incoming guy Isaiah Horton, but obviously you lose KC and you lose Isaiah Williams that's going out on transfer. What do you think that what does it look like? What does the wide receiver competition look like this offseason?
I mean, it sounds like it's already set. You got Mario at one. You got Horton from Alabama at two. That's what I'm hearing. Uh, then, I mean, who else do we have?
Well,
We have guys that didn't play that much last year.
Aston Bethel Roman is a big piece, right? I mean, look,
Well,
we base out
if
of
his hands show up like they did in some games, then awesome. If they do what they did in most games, where he drops the effing ball, shoot me in the head.
yeah, and he obviously first experience last year, so on and so forth. So part of that's out there, right? I mean that's an influence on some of that. I think the more time he got better as the year went on, right?
Mhm.
But ultimately, why was he not the guy that people were talking about has he's the big body receiver that the big receiver that this team needed, right? Isaiah Horton's now that big receiver. This guy's also they're the same, they're both 6'2" or 6'3", right? It's not that much difference in that. The difference is Isaiah Horton, if you go watch him in Alabama, is a big physical dude. The dude gets out there, he will get and block. He
Why did he leave Alabama anyway? Money?
um
I'm just
I
curious.
I don't know, man. His numbers weren't like crazy great, but they Alabama still wants to get Ryan Williams involved and all that and blah blah blah, right?
That was
Uh,
disappointing.
so there's a lot of things going on there, but at the end of the day, I think he saw an opportunity with a coach that he previously recruited him to Alabama, as well, and he had experience with. And he thought that was a good fit for him. He saw what KC did last year, what this team did last year, and saw that, there was some opportunity here to do those things.
Right?
Um, and to, get better and so on and forth and get lots of balls thrown their way because, KC's gone, so on and so on. And I think that's what happened, right? But I I don't think ABR is him because I don't think ABR is that physical guy, right? ABR is a speed guy, right?
That's all. Yeah. He's a drop the ball half the time guy, too.
Um,
Saw that, dude. Don't. I mean, I'm just saying it was frustrating as hell watching him
yeah,
drop
and
passes. I
look,
hope
and
that's out of his system.
but I still think that, I still think that ABR's got a place on this on this receiving staff, right?
Oh, absolutely. I agree with you. I think so too. But I don't put him up there with Craver or Horton.
Yeah,
You
and let's
think
go
he's a
back to
number one or
Craver.
two?
Let's go
Huh?
back to Craver because a lot of people are coming over there with Horton and saying, "Hey, Horton's your new number one." Sorry, buddy.
No.
Sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
Mario Craver is going to be an absolute freaking stud in 2026. Mark
Yeah.
it down. And here's the thing, bro. What KC did this year is I don't think it's going to compare to what, and I think Mario's going to have a bigger year than KC had this year.
They just got to find ways to get him the ball. Just get him the ball. That guy's so electric. He's elusive, man. When he gets the ball in his hands, I kept thinking he was going to be tackled so many times, and he got away. Not that he, you know what I'm saying? Not like it's just weird. Wasn't it weird watching him with the ball in his hands? I mean, like down the sideline, he tiptoes, or you think he's down. You're like, what the hell just happened? It happened like 3 or 4 times this year.
I, I'm so impressed by what he did. Period. Just super impressed. Um,
Do you have his stats pulled up from last year?
no, but 900 and something yards, right? And I mean, it's basically the same stats as
KC?
KC, right? He had
How
he
many
had basically
touchdowns
the
did he have?
same
Like
the same
seven,
stats.
eight?
I mean, and I'm kind of going through it right now, but
Is he a black horse for the Heisman next year?
man, I mean, if they ever gave it to wide receivers, he'd be in it. He'd be in the mix. So he had
Yeah.
59 for 917 and 4 touchdowns.
So what do you okay? That's last year. What do you think this year? You think he'll break 80?
I think those numbers go up, yeah. And I
I
don't
mean,
know if number of catches go up by that much, right? I mean, but you got to think that he should get some of those extra KCs. KC only had 61 catches, bud, compared to 59, right? They were
yeah.
split
What was the yardage?
919 to 917.
Wow.
Yeah.
Touchdowns?
That's where KC he had nine, Mario only had four.
Hmm.
There was a difference there, right? But
Right.
um I do think that his numbers go up. I think he goes over 1,000 next year because I think he's just that great of a playmaker. Horton, I don't think gets to KC's numbers, right? I don't think Horton gets to Casey's numbers, but I think some of the other pieces, and this is where I'm talking about competition because I don't think there's a competition for number one wide receiver. I think that is in hand. The dude's got it. It's Mario. Rio is one.
Right.
Where I think now is that you're battling for catches there with the other guys because I do think ABR is in the mix, and I think he's probably your number three starter. Horton's in the mix. He's your number two starter, right?
Hmm.
But don't forget about Bussy. And
Oh God, I forgot about him. I did. I ain't gonna
and
lie. I forgot about him.
listen, I know he didn't have a great year last year stat wise, right?
Yeah.
Only 18 for 195. But that guy is a supreme athlete, dude, and they need to figure out how to get his ass on the field and how to get him the ball. Period.
Why can't they put him in the backfield?
Well, they can do that too. And move them around, motion them, jet sweep them, do all these crazy different things that are not that
Yeah.
crazy, right? Use his you know kind of
Use him like what's his name? Debo Samuel?
yeah.
Is that what you talking about?
How
Remember the
about
San
how about the
Francisco used to
freshman out at Florida last year, right?
yeah. They line him up
Like,
in the backfield, they put him anywhere.
and so that's what I'd like to see. That's what I'd like to see more from Bussy. I'm hoping that he has a much bigger year next year because he's going to be playing somewhere else otherwise, by the way, right? He's going to be playing somewhere else.
Yeah.
But there's also, I mean, there's TK Norman, right, who was a freshman last year. You've got a guy like Kelshawn Johnson, another freshman from last
Who
year.
was the big guy last year that didn't play? 6'5" or
Jerome
6'6"?
Jerome Miles, five-star freshman from last year that didn't get on the field, right? But and he's a 6'2", 6'3" guy, 220 pounds. You go back and look at his videos from high school, and he's physical. He's physical. He's not ABR, my friend. That dude will go and hit you. So I'd like to I'd like to start seeing some of that youth show up on tape in Aggieland. And I think that's where the competition comes out of wide receiver.
Gotcha.
Um, O-line, I think, is the biggest one here, right? So O-line, look, we talked about the 4 transfers coming in. I'm going to tell you right now, Corey, that I truly believe that only two of those guys, at most two of those guys, end up starting. I I do think it's probably Formby, Wilkin Formby at right tackle, and
Where's Formby from?
Alabama,
Okay.
and then maybe one of those other guys. But don't give in on Blake Ivy, who I think is a guy that is ready to get on the field, a big time recruit. Ashton Funk, another guy that's ready to get on the field. Esendra Afua. And all three of those guys play interior, and they're look, Trayvon Baugh is not going to be a starter on this offensive line. That's the guy from South Carolina. He won't be starting. I'm telling you, he will
Who's
not
the
be a
guy they
starter.
had listed in the next year, like for the draft? That one of the Aggies, some guy from LSU, wasn't it?
Tyree Adams?
Yeah, they had him as one of the top players to get drafted.
Yeah, he
Dude,
he wasn't very good
what's the
at
quarterback's
LSU,
name from
but
LSU last year? What was his
yeah.
name? What? Nussbaum or something?
Nussmeier?
Nessmeyer. Ask him how good his offensive line was last year.
Yeah. And
Ask
that's my point, right? You got Lamont Rogers, who was an offensive tackle, freshman offensive tackle last year, five-star kid coming out, right? Like these guys are gonna give some competition to these guys. I expect that at least two of the young offensive linemen are gonna take starting positions that were here last year. I do expect that. I do.
Yeah,
We'll see
I
which
hope so.
one.
That'd be great for our
I,
future.
Not to mention, think about this, right? Then next year, when all the old people leave, at least you got three people coming back because you got some youngsters still playing, right?
I don't even know how
Um,
much eligibility these guys. Do these transfers have any more eligibility after this year? I have no idea.
I mean, I think a lot of these transfers are going to be one and done type guys. So
They'll probably
uh,
transfer again next year.
Eccles has I know has some time, and he may end up being a guy that backs up next year and then ends up playing the year after. So defensively, Corey, we'll kind of go through these pretty quickly. I mean, cornerback, you get a guy like Ricky Gibson in from Tennessee, man. Everything I've seen from Ricky Gibson and heard, and I listened to him talk the other day, dude, this guy looks like the real deal. I expect him to be your number one at cornerback. And I think the competition comes on the other side. Does Des Ricks keep his job? It's me. I'm serious.
Why would he lose it? Who's he going to lose it to?
Dude, I love a lot of the young players on this team. Man, I do. I
You do
do. I
that
do.
every
I
year.
do.
Every year you fall in love with these young guys, and some of them don't even touch the field.
Well, we got to see where it's at, right? I mean, but yeah, I mean, you got defensive guys on that defense. You're talking about, well, number one, you got Julian Humphrey, who's a transfer from from Georgia, right, from last year. But
Yeah,
Jamarville Goins was a big time recruit. Ahead of him, even Adonis Curry. I want to see who's a big 6'2" guy at cornerback. I want to
I
see him
like the
on the
big
field,
guys.
man. I want to see him on the field.
Hey, you know what surprised me? Tennessee in this year's draft, they have two players that were defensive backs that are supposed to be top 30 picks.
One of them didn't play it down last year, right?
Crazy.
And the other one got beat out by Ricky Gibson, except Ricky Gibson got hurt in game two or three, whatever.
Wow, that's pretty
That
good.
that tells you something, right? At safety, Tawfiq Byard, the transfer from Colorado, brother's an
Yeah.
NFL safety. We got two returning starters, right? So, but I
Wait,
think
what did you
Byard
say
gets in the
his dad
mix.
was an NFL starter?
His brother is an NFL starter for the Bears.
What's his name again?
Byard.
Where did his brother play at?
I don't remember, but maybe Colorado also.
Huh. All right.
Um, I think he gets in the mix though. I know Brooks and Ratcliffe, I think are solid at their spots. I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if Elko has a little three safety look coming out. Maybe he's playing Byard even at one of those safeties at nickel. I don't know. I think that's going to be an interesting deal, but I do expect him to get a lot of play there.
Hmm.
Um, so I think he's a great addition. It's going to be big help for this defense. Miles Davis has to start getting more reps. Also, a young safety into that group that also needs to get in there and needs to compete. We'll see. because Ratcliffe is a guy that a lot of people are giving a lot of respect to with his size. And now I think in his last year, Brooks obviously needs to step up in his last year, start making some things. Linebacker is another interesting one because they bring in Ray Coney. Everybody's got Ray Coney penciled in as a starter because he's the transfer. This kid's not even going to start. He's not going to start. I'm sorry to tell him.
Why?
Look, linebacker, first of all, Sanford is a stud. That
Oh,
dude's
he
gonna
is. I like it.
that dude's gonna be an all SEC player next year. Call me on it. Put it, just mark it down. Mark it down.
Oh,
Ready?
no, I like him. He's got
Remember what I
enough.
said with who Edgerrin
No,
Hooper?
you never said that. I said that.
I said S all that no. Okay, whatever. And I said it. I said it. And where was he
Okay.
then? Anyway, Sanford, all SEC in 2026. I'm just telling you right now. And now the question is, who's the guy starting next to him? Look, Noah McHale had played as a freshman this year, right? Lockhart's been in the system for 2 years. Both of those guys are better athletes than Ray Coney, and they're more familiar with the system. What do you think's going to happen there?
Oh, Ray Coney's getting the start.
Not a chance.
What about the guy? What about the guy from Houston?
He's a walk-on. TJ Smith is a walk-on from Houston Christian. He's not getting it. He's not getting it done either.
Oh, bless his heart.
Bless his heart. I do like the Beck kid, the Beck freshman kid, and I think he's in time going to be a big part of what's going on here, but not next year, not next year, unless
Gotcha.
unless a lot of things go wrong.
Yeah.
D line, I think, is where you really are going to have to get into it now. So let's start at defensive end. Let's break it up. Right, we
Yeah.
add Anto Saka and Ryan Henderson after into this group. I think both of those guys are in the rotation. But there's some competition here, right? Look, this is the area where this room and this defense needs somebody to step up, right? We got to find somebody that can put pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah, we found it every year so far since Elko's been here.
Okay.
Have we not?
I mean, Nick Scorton led the Big Ten in sacks. He comes over here and yeah, he provides pressure.
But
Uh,
how many sacks did he get? He didn't get as many as we thought he was going to get. He only got like
no, but
six.
he there was also three defensive linemen that year that I got drafted, right?
Right.
I
And then we
mean,
have,
including
I mean,
him.
then you had, we didn't know how it was going to be that good.
No, but he also led his team in sacks the year before he left, right? I guess.
Bowling Green, and that's a totally different, that's apples and oranges.
Oh yeah, Northwestern's a powerhouse.
They're in the Big Ten.
I guess here's your bodies, man. Let me give you some names, right? So you got TJ
Yeah.
Searcy. TJ Searcy. Not a rush defensive end, by the way.
He's disappointed since he's been here.
Yeah. You got Anto Saka, who had 3 sacks last year. You got
Better than none.
Salmon Pemba, who transferred from Georgia. He's got all the measurables, but he couldn't even see the field last year. You
Took
got
my fault.
Ryan Henderson from San Diego State, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, and then you got Marco Jones, who's going to be a sophomore.
Okay.
So I'm just giving you some names. You tell me who's bringing the pressure, right? Where's this pressure coming from?
It's got to be Saka. You guys got everything you need. Coming from Northwestern, played in the Big Ten.
We hope so, right? We hope so, but
Kevin, just write it down.
I don't see it. That's what I'm telling you. I don't ex I expect him to be a contributor in the mix. I think this defense is going to have to bring linebacker pressure. That's what I think. I think this defense is going to have to bring a lot of linebacker pressure throughout the year. Marco Jones has got to take a huge step forward because he is really the guy. The guy.
You think?
Uh, I think he's your number one defensive end as far as it goes, and so the question is, what do you get out of Mpemba? He's a guy he was a Georgia guy. I mean, he clearly is athletic and all these different things, right? But what do you get out about a guy like that?
Or maybe
He
the
didn't get
head
on the
case.
field last year,
He probably
right?
got something wrong with his head.
Um, and here's the name for you. Brandon Davis Swain, who's really a defensive tackle that just transferred in from Colorado. I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised if he plays some at the strong end in there. And I think he can bring interior pressure.
Hmm.
I think he's an interior pressure guy, even playing inside. And
I
so
like that.
moving to the defensive tackles, you bring in C.J. Mims and Angela McCollum. Mims from North Carolina, a place you love and adore, and Angela McCollum from Illinois. Big program guys that
Yeah.
played last year.
Who do we have
Uh,
coming back?
DJ Hicks,
Line.
right? DJ Hicks and then the freshman from last year, Landon Rink, DJ Sanders, and Chase Sims, right? But I'll tell you, and listen, don't give me that face when I give you these freshmen because I think Landon Rink is gonna be, if not a starter, early rotation guy, playing a lot of snaps for this defensive line. A lot.
Hmm.
He's gonna beat out the transfers, I think. And I
I
think
don't
he's
know
one of
about
those
that.
guys that is hardworking, he's physically imposing, he's super strong. I think that dude is going to show up next year. I do.
So you're
Um,
saying there's a lot of question marks on our D line.
I'm saying no. I look. I think the North Carolina kid is a plug and play, like run stopping defensive tackle, right?
Is he an upgrade over what's the guy's name that just left?
Regis.
Yeah.
Let's say he's equivalent to Regis.
All right. But defensive ends we're losing, right? Are they gonna be
Yeah.
better
So I
run
think a
stoppers?
defensive
Guy
end. You lose
maybe they'll be
Cassius
better run
Howe. Corey,
stoppers.
Cassius Howe was the defensive player of the year in the SEC, man.
Yeah, but
He
I'm just
was.
saying, can we
That's
stop
not.
the run better? Can these guys stop the run? Cassius Hell couldn't stop the run, save his life.
Yeah, it did. But TJ Searcy had a lot of problems stopping the run. He was your run stopping defensive end. So you tell
Well, I'm
me.
just saying. That's what drove me nuts is watching teams run the ball like crazy against us. That's got to
Yeah.
be that's got to be like number one on the defensive his
I
mind.
actually think this group could be better against the run. They could be better
It's got
against
to
the
be. It
run.
can't be much worse, Leo. It's gonna be hard to be much worse.
But once again, that's schematic, right? That's a lot of that is schematic.
I
And
agree.
so,
I think the linebackers, a lot of his linebacker play too. They're out of place. Safeties out of
yeah,
place.
safeties, linebackers all came into play there. This
Yep.
defensive line, and this is the one thing that worries me the most about this team. Everybody thinks it's offensive line. It's not. The one thing that worries me the most about this team is where they're going to get the pressure. Will Mike Elko do what he has to do to bring pressure? Because he's going to have to bring blitzes. He's going to have to use the linebackers, and he's going to have to do those things, right? And otherwise, no matter how good that secondary is, which I think it's going to be the best secondary in the fucking SEC, we just throw that out there. No matter how good those players are, they're going to get
Dropping
burnt.
the F bomb.
Yeah, do a little F bomb in there.
Yep. My kids are right out there.
Yeah.
They're just dropping like it's hot.
Good thing they're not
Sorry, guys.
listening though,
They
and
probably are.
good thing they're not. They don't listen.
Cameron just walked in here a little bit ago.
So, um, here's another coming. Let's finishing off the topic on football. By the way, Mel Kiper comes out with his mock draft. Just a week ago, there was a mock draft had three Aggies in the first round. Mel Kiper,
Craver.
none. Mel Kiper has zero.
Who were the Craver and who else?
Craver, Howe, and Basantis.
No, not Craver. Concepcion.
Concepcion, sorry. I'm
Did
already
he have
getting lost.
Basantis in the first round?
Yeah, at the end, they had him picked right at the end of the first round, but not Mel Kiper. Mel Kiper has zero Aggies in the draft. He did rank Crownover as the number 10 offensive tackle in the
Oh
entire
God.
thing. Zune is the number 7 center. Yeah, so uh, we'll see. He had
How
KC
many Aggies? How many
Concepcion.
Aggies did
He had
drafted? How
KC
many?
as the number 8 wide receiver behind Branch, the guy from Georgia, Brazel, the guy from Tennessee, Fields, the Notre Dame guy, and Boston, the guy from Washington. So there you go. No respect. No respect.
That's not good.
All right. Questions from the tailgate. We've actually already answered this. Who's going to lead the Aggies in receiving yards in 2026?
Oh, you already said it. You said Craver.
I no, unless that dude gets hurt in game two, he's going to lead this team in receiving yards.
I
Period.
mean, is there really any competition?
No,
I mean, we don't know much about Horton. We didn't know much about Casey and Craver last year. I mean, Horton could come in and have been at Bethel Roman if his hands. Geez, that guy's electric. I mean, he could. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, odds of money are Craver
Graver, 100%.
or
I don't
Ruben
think
Owens.
we can move him to wide receiver. He'd be better there.
Yeah,
At least every time somebody trips him, like barely touches his shoelace, he won't
yeah.
fall.
Then have to run between the tackles.
All right, so here's one that's a little bit more challenging, Corey. Who wins
Do
the
it.
SEC in 2026?
Man, there's a lot of options. I mean, just to ask me right now, from what I know, what they have coming back, I'd say I'd lean Georgia is going to be really good. Texas, I think, will be really good. Who am I forgetting?
I mean, it could be
Oklahoma's going to be
who do
pretty
you like?
good.
Oklahoma, Ole Miss, A&M.
Oklahoma, Ole Miss. I mean, Chambliss coming back, yeah, it helps a lot, but new
But
coach and
LSU,
stuff, a lot of variables there too.
Kentucky.
God no, where the hell did you come up with that
Hey, you like Jay Bateman, so
one? Uh,
Florida.
no,
I'll tell you
I'd lean
this:
Georgia. I'd say
of
Georgia or Texas.
of all the teams with new coaches, the most dangerous one is Florida because I promise you, have talent, son. They're ready to roll.
Yeah, they
Uh,
do have talent.
I agree with you. I think Georgia's the safe bet. I do think that they're the safe bet.
Where did the
I'm not as
South
high as
Florida coach go? Where's the South Florida coach at? Auburn? No,
Auburn.
he is, and he
Yeah,
brought his quarterback in there.
yeah,
Brown,
hmm
watch out for them.
yeah.
That quarterback's good.
I think they got more holes though.
They do, but that quarterback's good, man. He's electric. That guy's he's something else. He's a true dual threat. I mean, he can throw, run.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes in the
He can
SEC, right?
turn
I
it over.
mean,
He can turn it over a lot too. Saw
he
that.
sure can. Um, I like your pick in Georgia. I'm not as high as everybody else is on Texas.
I mean,
They bring in two running backs who each led the conference in rushing, but the fact of the matter is that they're plugging it into an offense that couldn't run the football last year. And by the way, don't tell me that Wisner's not a good tailback and C.J. Baxter's not a good tailback, right? They had good tailbacks last year and they couldn't run the freaking football.
yeah,
So
they ran the football just fine against the Aggies.
that's the only time they ran the football fine. So my point is like I think Texas has other problems than just like replacing a tailback or whatever, There's are they going to be good? Sure. They nine win good, sure. Are they number one in the country? Sure. Good? No, they're not. And by the way, Cam Coleman didn't have as many receiving yards as Mario Craver last year.
Yeah, they
Just
already
gonna
talked
tell
about
you.
Cam Coleman being one of the first wide receivers drafted next year.
Yeah, the guy had, you know how many yards he had
What's
this
he
year?
done?
570.
What's he done?
Nothing. Nothing. Is he a
I
physical
mean,
specimen? Sure. Can he run a route? Not very good. So there you go.
and that's what sucks for guys like me and him being the physical specimens. People just expect so much. It's nerve wracking, Alejo. It's nerve wracking. Everywhere I
Yeah.
go, oh, this guy must be some great athlete. I work at UPS, man. All right,
Hey man, it's tough, man, to have that kind of pressure on your shoulders every
it
day.
is. I'm just tired. I feel for Cam Coleman right now. Is all I'm doing.
All right.
Sorry,
Well,
Cam.
I'm not feeling too much for him, but that's okay. Any last words of wisdom there, Corey?
I'm excited to see what the Aggie basketball team does here at the end of the season, man. I am really happy we hired Bucky. I was kind of on the fence at first because I had no idea what to expect. And the style of play is fun to watch. I mean, I'm curious to see if he's recruiting or if he's just going to do transfer portal again. I have no idea. I haven't heard anything. Did you
Yeah,
hear anything?
look, I'm hoping that I think they're gonna have to add some transfer portal kids because they got too
They're
many guys
losing a
coming
lot.
back. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I hope he also goes out on the recruiting trail and starts, really bringing some high end talent as freshmen, right?
Yeah.
Guys that can show up and play today. Number
Yeah,
one.
I mean, I'm not looking for any one and dones, but somebody we can give, $500,000 to that's gonna be a solid player for a few years.
Yeah, hopefully we can go watch them win a ball game this Saturday. Maybe see if we can get some tickets.
Absolutely.
All right, Corey. Hey, brother, let me just tell you from me to you, love having you back on the show. This is a lot more fun for me than it is otherwise.
Well, yeah, I've heard it wasn't that good without me. But anyway, hey man, can't wait to see you for your birthday.
Later, brother.